So today's cardinal lesson, we're going to talk about the changes coming in 2023 to the whole Medicare program. The premiums you pay, the Part A deductible, the Part B deductible, and where a lot of the changes come on is in the IRMAA program, which is for the high income people. So some of this is pretty cool because they've reduced it. So now I want to, all of this came out in September, in late September 2022. And normally we don't see these changes until late November, early December. Now, these are favorable changes to Medicare. So they're favorable for the people 65 and over. Why do you think these came out 2 months early? Does anybody out there know? I mean, I think it's because we got an election coming up. And frankly, I don't really care if they're going to cut the Part B premium a bit. I don't really care if they're doing it because of an election. I think it's really cool that they're just doing it. So if you want to read the whole story, you can go to our show notes, which are on our website. They're tied in to the YouTube video, and you can just push a button on there and you can read it. And in the show notes, all that's in there is the CMS, that's Center for Medicare Services. It's not really a press release, or maybe that's what it is. It's just a communication from them. And I like this better than the 100 articles you can find on Google that go over the same thing, because this doesn't include any opinions, or many opinions, and maybe CMS's opinion. These are just the facts. So if you want to read all the background behind this, you can just go to the show notes. You can go Google it. You can go to our website, cardinalguide.com, and you can read the thing. But what I got up here on the board is what I think is important and noteworthy that's going to affect you if you're coming up on Medicare or if you're already on it. So let's start over here on the left side of the board at the top, and let's look at the changes that are coming in the Part A deductible, or just the changes in Part A. So the deductible, Part A deductible, if you are on original Medicare and you go in the hospital and you don't have supplemental insurance in 2022, the first $1,556 of charges are on you. Okay, now if you have a supplement, the supplement pays this, so it costs you nothing to go to the hospital for the first 60 days. And that is changing from $1,556 to $1,600. It's not on a cost that is incurred by many people because it's paid by the supplement. But that may be a reason for your supplement to go up a little bit, because everybody that's on a supplement that goes in the hospital, the insurance company is going to be out a little bit more money. It's not really significant. And then after 60 days in the hospital, again, which is not many people, but if it happens to you, it really doesn't matter. From the 61st to the 90th day, if you're on original Medicare and you don't have a supplement, and Medicare is going to pay all your costs in excess during 2022 of $389 a day, that number is now $400 a day. Not really a significant deal, but what I like about all of these changes is they're even numbers. It makes them a little bit easier to understand. People are still confused by it. Then the Part A, from days 91 through 150, it doubles. Is you would have an out-of-pocket cost of $778 a day, and then that's changed to $800 a day. But frankly, this isn't going to have much of an effect on you, because most people that are on original Medicare have a supplement and all this stuff is paid. And then your skilled nursing facility, from the 21st to the 100th day, you had a out-of-pocket expense of $194.50, again, paid by the supplement, has gone to $200. And you say, well, what am I watching this for? Well, that's pretty much what they do to it every year, all paid by the supplement. Now, if you're on a Medicare Advantage plan, a Part C, you have different deductibles than all of this anyhow, okay? So the Part A changes really affect people that are on original Medicare, and then if they have a supplement, you have a supplement, this is all going to be picked up by the supplement anyhow. Now the Part B, that's where the big changes is there's no premium for Part A, so there's nothing to change because you don't pay a monthly amount to have Part A of Medicare. But Part B, you pay a premium for that. And 93% of the people in the country pay $170.10 a month, or let's call it $170 a month this year in 2022. And I don't ever remember this happening before, but that's going down to $164.90. Now you could say that's only $5 a month. Well, it is only $5 a month. But if last year it went up by about $15 a month or $20 a month, something like that. And so to go from that to going down is significant. And what they say of why it went down is they overestimated the cost to Medicare of this Alzheimer's drug. And I think the Alzheimer's drug is still a great thing. It's not going to cost Medicare as much as they thought it was. And they were kind of scrambling when they set these rates last year. And so now they're giving some of that back or whatever. So there's a lowering. It's $164.90 for 93% of the people. Now the other 7% fall under this IRMAA. We're going to talk about that and have another re-explanation of IRMAA. And we'll probably do another IRMAA video later, but I want to just give you an idea. That's been made a little better, if you could really describe it as better, because people get really upset about this. But nonetheless, $170.10 now is going to $164.90. And then your Part B deductible, which most of you that are on a supplement, on a Medicare supplement, an original Medicare, you have to pay this Part B deductible. Okay, now some of you don't because you got the old Plan F, but most of you have to pay this before your Medicare supplement starts kicking in. And it's not a huge amount. It's $233 in 2022. That's going down to $226. So it's a little bit less money that you got to pay yourself before your Medicare kicks in. And that's really it for the changes in the benefits of Medicare and the premiums you pay, with the exception of IRMAA. But this gets grandstanded a lot. It's significant for some people. I have some of my clients that really struggle to get by, and they have Medicare supplement coverage, and this Part B premium is a real struggle for them. So $5 a month is $5 a month. So now I want to talk about IRMAA. Okay, so what in the world is IRMAA? And we have some cartoons in some of our website and some places where we kind of coined Aunt Irma. So we have Uncle Sam, Uncle Sam wants you, and we have a cartoon of that poster with Uncle Sam, and then he's married to Aunt Irma, and that's the Medicare aunt of the government. And IRMAA stands for Income Related Monthly Adjustment Amount, IRMAA, and code name for tax on affluent retirees. And I'm one of few people talking about this that's under Medicare, because and it just a lot of times it comes as a big surprise to people when they turn 65. They go on Medicare and they sign up and they think it's going to be $170 a month going to $164, and then all of a sudden, a month after they sign up, they get a letter from Social Security and the IRS that says, "Oh no, you're not paying this amount. You're paying some much larger amount just because." Now, what's happened is you've had a little bit of lowering in the sense that they raised the thresholds. So there's a higher amount that you can earn in income and not face IRMAA, or the brackets or the amount of income you can earn is a little bit larger. So if you're dodging this thing under it. And then they also lowered the amount of the add-on for both Part B and Part D. So let's talk about that a little bit. So if you're a single filer, single taxpayer, and you make $97,000 a year or more, you're going to fall into this first bracket. If you make more than 123,000 to 153,000, second bracket, 153,000 to 183,000, third bracket, and so on and so forth. And people that are over 500 grand, they have to pay for their Medicare Part B $395. And then that's in addition to the $164.90. And then they have to pay $76.40 a month for their Part D. So when you add all that together, it's pretty significant, depending on where you are. Now, for married filing jointly, it's double those amounts, $194,000. And in 2022, this threshold of 194 was 182. So that's gone up by $12,000. And so we do a lot of tax planning for people and income recognition planning, trying to keep them right under the next IRMAA bracket. And this is a cliff charge. In other words, if you're a couple and you make $194,010, you pay this whole amount extra. And for couples, it's for each of you. So unless there's just one of you on Medicare. So, when people get down into these higher amounts, they tend to get angry about this thing. There's not much you can do about it, other than plan your income if you have some control over the taxation. But frequently we get people who come to us for tax planning, financial planning, retirement planning, and they get so bothered about this that they start planning all their tax planning and income planning around trying to dodge in and out of IRMAA. And I don't think that's smart. I mean, it's just because this is a lot, but it's relative to the amount of taxes that you can save over the long run doing Roth conversions and kind of things that bring your income up. I think it's wise to know about this, plan for it, but don't take it to too much of an extreme. Now, the other place that bothers people about this is if you make a large income before you retire, and I just had a gentleman that's a new client that had over $1 million a year of annual income. He's a CEO of a company. And so on his first $144,000, he paid some pretty good tax for Social Security and Medicare. But then once he reached that, which was probably in February for him, he kept paying 1.9% of Social Security tax on the whole next $1 million, or it's Medicare tax is what it's called. And then his employer paid that same amount. That's probably 20 grand a year extra that he was paying in taxes to pay into the Medicare system before he was even on it. And now, he's got a pretty high income in retirement. And now he's saying, okay, so now that I'm on Medicare and I'm collecting on this, they're hitting me with this. And so we were able to do a bunch of financial planning because he doesn't need that big income to go on, and he doesn't need anywhere near that amount out of his resources. So we're planning all his tax stuff around of trying to minimize this stuff for both he and his wife. They're both over 65. So, there's some things we can do planning with this. I just want people to understand it. And I make all my clients coming in aware of this, and we try to plan around it. So there isn't too much more than that. I mean, this is right in Medicare season, open enrollment, annual enrollment. That's probably not real well understood. So we're sending this out to you in early October. We do Medicare consulting in all 50 states in the District of Columbia. We can do it by Zoom, telephone. We can email back and forth. We can write business. We can make changes for you. So, if you need us, give us a call this time of year. Send us an email. I'm Hans Scheil, and I thank you for listening.